A producer is facing up to 5 years in federal prison. I'm not making this up. This is real. And this is a producer I've actually worked with in the past. This is an ongoing case. You might be familiar with him. Check this out. His name is Mike Smith. Some of his credits include, let's see, Crooked Eye, Tech Nine, Sci-Hi the Prince, DJ Who Kid, Snoop Dogg. Now, this guy didn't just make beats for certain artists and produce music for them. He also started a record label. The record label was called SMH Records. I knew some people who were signed to that deal. He also co-created a series called One Shot. It was the One Shot Show. Now, on the One Shot Show, a lot of dope rappers were appearing, writing music on the spot. They were judging the music. The winner got something I don't remember, but maybe not most, but a solid 30 to 40% of those beats were mine. Honestly, I interacted with King Tech and Mike Trampy the most regarding getting my beats placed on this show. And a lot of the music that came out of that was great. I wish it had gone farther. But shortly after that, Mike Smith started running a multi-million-dollar streaming fraud campaign. This is the newest update. The feds have gotten a guilty plea out of him. This is the first U.S. streaming fraud case. Apparently it was 8 million. At first it was 10 million when it was first reported, I believe. And he faces up to 5 years in prison after admitting to running this scheme. Now, what he did was, and of course everything's paywalled. You can read this article, as you can see, March 19th. This is, as I'm recording this is happening. On justice.gov, Michael Smith generated thousands of fake songs using artificial intelligence and then streamed those fake songs billions of times, says U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton. So even the feds are calling AI slop fake song. Although the songs and listeners were fake, the millions of dollars Smith stole was real. Now, this is a big problem. This doesn't just occur with streaming fraud. This is a major complaint about AI music. So AI music that's flooding the streaming platforms are taking money out of the royalty pool for human artists. So a lot of people are like, well, what's the big deal about AI music? Why do we need to label it on Spotify and other platforms? Because people are unwittingly, and I'm going to make another video about this, people are unwittingly clicking on these songs, listening to these songs, thinking they're humans. And the little amount of money that would be going to artists anyway are going to these AI tech bros that don't give a goddamn about music or humans who make music, human musicians, middle class, struggling artists, whatever. We know that streaming platforms, period, but especially Spotify, has a bot problem. Oh shit. So he has to pay, not only is he facing a maximum of 5 years in prison, he's also gonna pay the $8 million back. So he I guess he has the money. I don't know. That's crazy. I have a feeling that we're gonna see more of this. I don't even want to get into the Drake lawsuit and all of the allegations surrounding streaming fraud with the major label systems. Mike Smith is not part of the major label systems, so he's gonna get hit harder. It also doesn't help that he is using music that was AI generated, and he created, I think, hundreds if not thousands of songs with an AI platform. I'll talk about which AI platform he used in a second. And as you know, the labels have been suing the top AI music platforms. 2 or 3 of them have been settled, but this could happen to a lot more people. And I'm gonna drop a video about this whole emergence of fake bands where people create entire bands and all they're doing is just uploading Suno-generated music, but they're making it seem as though they're a real band and there are humans in the band, and they create fake ethnicities and biographies for all these people. And I have a feeling that there's streaming fraud present in these scenarios too. And I wonder if the penalties for streaming fraud are going to be a lot worse if the music that is being botted is AI generated. Kind of seems that way. This is a pretty heavy-handed verdict. 5 years in prison plus $8 million that you have to pay back. So they weren't naming the AI company that he was using. Now, in the court documents, I couldn't find which AI platform he used. The CEO of the company was named, and Billboard linked him, his name is Alex Mitchell, to the company Boomy. He's considered CC3, so he's co-conspirator 3. So he's being implicated in this case as well. And see, there's that 10 million number. So maybe that means he's going to get to keep 2 million. Maybe that's worth it. Sit in prison for 5 years, give back 8 million of the 10, and you still come out ahead 2 million. I don't know. I've not heard about Boom. Let's see. Booming AI, is it still yeah, okay, I guess I did click on it earlier. It says fairly trained. I don't know what that means. I don't know what any of this stuff means, but it looks just like Suno, so who knows. So what do you think this means for AI music going forward? This is SMH Records. They're defunct now. This is a photo of Mike Smith, or a video of Mike Smith. Yeah, you can still see content from, you know, back when the show was going on, and you can see how long ago this was. August 11th, 2016. So this was a good time. Good time. In situations like these, it's kind of like a no heroes, no villains kind of scenario, because yeah, you can be upset with Mike Smith for using AI to defraud Spotify, but then you think, well, wait a minute, Spotify is pretty terrible too. I think the victims are always going to be the artists that are struggling. It's not going to be the artists that are signed to the major labels, and it's damn sure not going to be the major labels themselves. It's going to be artists that are getting, you know, maybe 50 to 200,000 streams on Spotify every month, and that money in the royalty pool is being taken away, and mostly it's being taken away by, you know, the bigger artists that are signed to the majors, and you know, that calls into question how fair the Spotify system is. But it's also being taken away by AI generated music, by people who aren't even musicians themselves. They're just generating music, by people who maybe are making the music themselves, you don't know, but they're using botted streams, and all of that messes with money, that the very limited money that's available to real human struggling artists. Speaking of real human struggling artists, platinum producer, I have to make sure to say that, otherwise I get fined. Platinum producer Noah Mejia is exposing the music industry for scamming producers. Now, if I see a video with that kind of caption, I automatically click, let's see what Noah has to say.
Labels charged $500 minimum starting for Plaques. Okay.
No, they don't.
Okay, that shit right there, that was $500. I don't order my Plaques, bro, because I'm gonna be fucking broke. The fuck? Why the fuck do I gotta pay for a reward that I earned? That shit don't make sense to me. Can we change that, guys? Like, why am
I did think when I first got into the music business that those plaques that people got were provided by the label, and you know, they were free, because why wouldn't they be free? It's you know, you got an accomplishment. I thought Grammys were free too. Grammys aren't free either. Oh my God, this is a big conspiracy. It's a big scam. So, all right, shout out to Noah Mejia. I've been trying to contact him to get him on a video, but he's busy hanging out with Slayer, and I'm just here shoveling snow. But he misspoke. I'm not going to judge him harshly, because I misspoke in a recent video. My last video talking about the new AI rulings from the Supreme Court and the Copyright Office, I kept referring to their official statement as a conclusion from Congress. I referred to that document as a congressional document. Congress didn't make that. Congress is connected to AI legislation, of course, but I was wrong. I had to pin a comment on that video explaining that I was wrong and clarifying what I meant to say, but in spite of me intending to speak correctly, I misspoke. So hopefully Noah can do this too and clarify, just because what happens is a lot of producers are misinformed because we catch these little bits and pieces of misinformation and then we run with it forever. I mean, how many producers still believe to this day in 2026 that they can mail themselves a copy of their beats on a USB drive and get copyright protection? How many producers believe that you can legally sample 6 seconds or less of audio without clearance? How many producers still believe that ASCAP and BMI are the agencies through which you copyright your music? And these little things can hurt us. These little misunderstandings can damage us. So back to the video. He said, people are like, well, what did he get wrong? He said labels charge $500 for Plaques. Labels don't charge anything for Plaques because labels do not make Plaques. If you've ever been to a record label, there is no plaque making department. It would be hilarious to walk into the Atlantic offices and then walk past like the A&R office and into some vast warehouse where you just have 100 different label interns meticulously framing, spray painted plastic discs. And I'm reading the comments like, this guy says, I feel Brogue is taken advantage of because of his appearance. The plaque that he's showing in the video isn't even his. He's in like Yeat's house. That's not his plaque. So he didn't get taken advantage of. I don't know what people are talking about, but this is what I mean. A bunch of people are saying facts. It's not a fact, unfortunately. It's like the equivalent of winning a Grammy and having to pay for the Grammy. You have to pay for the Grammy. Did anyone say that? Grammys are bought more than people. Yeah, whatever. It never used to be like that. No, whatever. Some people are saying that you can end up getting written into your contract a clause that if the track gets certified, the labels will pay for the plaque. And I guess that's true. It's not true in my experience. I've never been able to negotiate that, but a producer from my city named G-Bang is his name now. Mark Smilo, who was representing him when he produced one of Lloyd Banks' hit singles, Karma, way back, negotiated in the contract that they would cover the cost of the plaques, and they did. So I guess it's possible, yeah. And you also have people saying, funny, the whole platinum and diamond thing was invented by the labels and blah, blah. Okay, so let's just clarify. A lot of people still believe that it's the labels' fault, and it's like, well, the labels are multi-billion-dollar entities, when in reality, the labels have nothing to do with it. What happens is, number one, you have to go through the RIAA, the Recording Industry Association of America. I think that's what it is. So every real authentic plaque has an RIAA hologram. If you go to the RIAA website, how do I purchase a plaque? There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is more than I thought. There are only 5 companies that are licensed to create these plaques in the entire country. They talk about counterfeit. I've never seen a counterfeit award in my life. If they're cheaper, someone let me know. So what happens is a label releases a song. They see that it's doing well. They think it's certified gold, platinum, or diamond. So they contact the RIAA for an audit. They have to pay for that audit. Once the RIAA confirms that, yes, there are enough eligible streams and sales to certify this project, they will certify it. Then the label has to pick which of those 5 companies is actually going to manufacture the plaque. And then the people who are a part of creating that song or album have to request a plaque from that company, and then the label has to approve it. Sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years, sometimes people just don't get it because the labels are chaotic. Then you go through the company, they have a whole catalog. A lot of the places, so the award group, for example, I'm clicking on stuff and they don't tell the prices. They don't tell you the prices. Jewel Box does tell you the prices. And yeah, they are expensive. The cheapest plaque, it looks like, is a little under $400. These standard ones, this one here, I actually have a couple of these. They used to cost $300. So inflation is a bitch. They're at $515 now. Ooh, and you get them, they come in a big ass box that looks like this. And let me duck out the way. These two were the most expensive ones. They're also the newest ones I got. I think I can't do this. That's pathetic. Those were about $700 each. One of them was $700, but I got it discounted because they messed something up, and then they also sent it to the wrong person. They sent it to Street Runner, and thank God Street Runner knows me, because I got a text from him with a photo of my plaque, and he was like, I think this is yours. So it was a tiny discount, but I'll take it. Anyway, in a nutshell, the only reason I'm saying this is so that we don't continue spreading misinformation. And just think, if something like this is catching so many producers off guard, what are some other things that we don't understand? For example, I'm constantly seeing big time producers who are millionaires, multimillionaires, consistently talk about mechanical royalties as though they're the same thing as master rights royalties, royalties from sound recording sales. And if we don't know what those are, how do we know how to collect them? The industry is convoluted on purpose so that we either depend on them or we depend on ourselves and get it wrong, and then we never collect our money. And then guess where a lot of that unclaimed money goes straight to the labels, straight to the top performing artists, and the labels get a big ass cut of that. So they quite literally profit from our ignorance. You don't want to be ignorant, man. They're gonna get you one way or another, but don't let your ignorance be a reason that you get got in this business. Keep learning. Much success to you. Appreciate you watching. Peace.